Giant companies like Veed and Zapier have used SEO as their primary growth channel, generating millions of visitors and leads and enabling them to grow faster than all their huge competitors. You see, many businesses in the SaaS space are still sleeping on SEO, and that's why it's still such a big opportunity. Now, over the last couple of years, me and my team at Breaking B2B have helped dozens of SaaS companies make organic SEO a top pipeline and revenue driver. So in this video, I'll break down the exact strategies that you can use to rank organic position 1 for revenue driving keywords both on Google, AI and LLMs, so you can start driving a steady flow of organic traffic, visitors, signups or demos for your SaaS company. Let's dive in. First off, let's talk about some common issues and why you should actually consider SEO for your SaaS company. Well, many SaaS businesses completely neglect organic search altogether and wonder why their website's failing to drive a steady flow of organic traffic, leads, signups, or demos. They often focus on things like events, paid media, or outbound sales, and then wonder why competitors are consistently outranking them in organic search results on Google and now LLMs and AI search. Or they try to do a little bit of SEO but treat it as a tick box exercise. So maybe they install a plugin like Yoast on their website. Maybe they pump out a couple blogs with ChatGPT, leave it for a few months, and then wonder why they're not driving organic traffic, leads, or signups. And the answer really is they never invested in a proper SEO strategy focused on revenue. And many founders and especially marketing teams on SaaS companies are stretched thin, often overworked, and usually have dozens of tasks on their plate each and every week, whether that's managing several channels or managing various go-to-marketing strategies. So perhaps they've tried SEO but never had the time to make it a success, or they simply lack the expertise because they're trying to do so much. They lack the knowledge or know-how or the latest best practices to give it a good shot. And this creates a huge opportunity for those SaaS businesses that want to do SEO right and start ranking organic number 1 on Google and LLMs for their money revenue driving search terms, so they can reduce reliance on paid ads, paid media, and similar. So they can start driving organic leads, signups, or demos for high sales intent prospects that are actively in market, searching for their solution or comparing vendors and ready to have a sales conversation. Plus, all the content you're going to be creating has the evergreen compounding effect. So blog articles, landing pages, product listicles, competitor pages, comparison pages can rank not just now, but for months and for years to come, providing that evergreen effect of traffic, visitors, leads, and organic pipeline for your business. But if you're still on the fence whether SEO is going to be a good fit for your SaaS company, here's 3 instances where it might not be. The first, perhaps if you're funded and your VC team is putting huge pressure on you to drive instant results, i.e. next week or by the end of the month. Well, even though we often see results with Breaking B2B clients as quick as 90 days through organic search, driving pipeline and revenues, if you don't have that runway, it's never going to be given a fair run. So you're probably better off looking at paid media, potentially network referrals, maybe outbound sales, but SEO is not going to be given the runway that it needs to see the impact. Secondly, if you're in a new category and provide a new offer that your dream clients don't actually know exists, meaning there's no demand capture, so folks aren't actively searching on Google, AI search, or LLMs for your offer because it's completely new. They're not aware that it actually is an offering. In that instance, if you are creating a brand new service, product, or similar for your software company, you'd be much better off working out where your dream clients get their trusted information, where they hang out, where they spend their time, and creating content to drive awareness around the offer. Share the problem you fix, entertain those folks, educate them, and then when they are aware of the solution and they're searching on Google, AI, LLMs for that kind of offer, then it probably makes sense to invest in an SEO program. Or lastly, maybe your team's just super stretched thin. Perhaps you're a solo founder or a marketing team of 1 or 2, and you've got so many other tasks on your plate, SEO could never get given the runway, the time, the attention it deserves, or you just don't have the cash to work with a contractor or agency to make it happen. In that case, you might want to wait until you've got the resources or the cash to actually give it the love, the attention it deserves to make a success. By the way, I speak to dozens of SaaS marketers and founders each and every week, and many still get tired of seeing competitors above them in organic search results on Google and LLMs, meaning they're missing out on a steady stream of leads, signups, demos, and revenue through SEO. If at any point in this video you want help implementing this SaaS SEO strategy, why not grab a call with me over at breakingb2b.com or hit the link in the description below. Right, back to the strategy. So before I share the step-by-step tactics to start driving pipeline and revenue through organic search, there's something you need to be aware of and to avoid. I call it the traffic trap. What the heck's the traffic trap? The traffic trap is going for SEO, where you focus on vanity metrics like visitors and organic traffic at all costs. What does this look like in practice? Well, it means going after top funnel, informational based keywords like what is a CRM, how to build a website, what is SEO. Now, these keywords might show up on tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush as driving tons of traffic, but the truth is, if someone's searching for these really basic queries, they're probably either a student, someone that's super early on their journey, and very, very, very unlikely to ever become a lead or a customer. Not only that, but these kind of basic, thin informational terms are being wiped out by Google AI overviews, where you get an instant answer above the fold without having to click through a blue link to go to an external website page. So folks are getting served that information straight away, and it's just not really going to drive pipeline or inbound leads or revenue for your company. So instead, you want to flip that on its head and target bottom of the funnel keywords, topics, and phrases. We call these money keywords, aka what would a dream client search for on Google, AI search, or an LLM when they're actively in market. You've probably heard of the 95-5 rule. 95% of your market are not ready to buy, but 5% are at any given time. So what would that 5% search for when they're ready to have a sales conversation, when they're ready to sign up, grab a demo, or compare vendors? What would they look for on Google or an LLM when they are in that buying mode? That's where we want to start. These money keywords, these money search terms that are actually going to drive pipeline and revenues. And often these long tail money keywords will drive less traffic, have less searches per month, but they're way more likely to result in a demo, lead, or sales conversation. All right, I'm going to share the money keywords matrix so you can start building out these bottom of funnel, high sales intent keywords, topics, so we can start driving qualified leads, demos, signups, and pipeline from our SEO activities, both on Google organic search and moving into LLMs. Let's dive straight in. So I've built out this matrix here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 main columns, plus I'll go into some extras after the core ones. So column 1, I've broken down into our main offer, our main solution. So how do our prospects refer to our offer? In this example, I'm going to talk about pretending we are a proposal software SaaS. So let's pretend we're a proposal software company. So how do folks refer to our offer? Well, in this instance, they could call it proposal software, proposal tools, proposal platform, but perhaps you provide HR and payroll software. So maybe it's HR software, HR tools, payroll software, payroll platforms, etc. Next column, column 2, what are the industries that we serve best? The industries that historically, if we look in our CRM or sales pipeline, we've sold well into in the past. They have the expensive problem we solve. They're genuinely motivated to solve it. Plus, most importantly, they have the cash to easily invest in our offer. So it could be industry sales teams, HR, finance, fintech, etc. List down all those money niches and industries. Next one, competitors. Column 3 is competitors. What are those competitors that always get brought up almost to an annoying level? There'd always be 3 or 4 that always you get stacked up against in those sales conversations, or they get mentioned on those sign-up forms or demo forms or inquiries. So in the proposal world, it could be Proposify, PandaDoc, GetAccept, Quilla. Again, list them all out, chat to your sales team so you've got the data you need. And then the 4th column we'll go into to start with, what are your dream clients' jobs to be done? What are those struggling moments, those problems that they face, the problems, the issues, the frustrations they always raise on sales calls, or something they try and do internally, in-house, until they get so frustrated that they need to find a new, better way, perhaps because it's causing churn or causing really long timelines or delaying revenue or delaying pipeline or frustrating the team or whatever else it may be. All right, so those are the 4 columns: offer, industry, competitor alternatives, and jobs to be done, which also means struggling moments or frustrations or problems of your dream clients. So what we want to do is build these 4 columns out into money long tail keywords. Often these keywords are going to get less traffic than top funnel keywords because they're bottom funnel, but they're more likely to result in high sales intent, leads, signups, and potential revenue. So for example, here we've got proposal software. So one keyword that might come to mind straight away would be best proposal software. We've also got proposal tools, so best proposal tools, and proposal platform, best proposal platform. But those keywords are going to be super competitive. They're going to have big players like PandaDoc, Quilla, and my friends at Proposify ranking for those. So instead, you might want to niche down, and that's where we weave in our industry terms. So we'd make longer tail keywords, so things like best proposal software for sales teams, or proposal software for HR teams, or proposal software for finance. And likewise, we can do that for each variation. So proposal tools for HR, proposal tools for sales team, proposal tools for finance. The whole point of this money keywords matrix is to exhaust that bottom of funnel, work out all these money long tail keywords that your dream clients might search for when they need your offer, and make sure we're nailing these first before moving up the funnel. Moving on to the competitor column. These are great. These work because, as you probably know, in B2B, folks rarely go with the first option, first vendor they find. They normally make a shortlist and compare 3 or 4 vendors before they're ready to move forward. So if you can rank for terms like competitor alternative, competitor pricing, competitor reviews, it gives you a chance to show up and then position yourself within that article, within that landing page as a new, better solution, and show where you outshine the competitor, which we'll dive into a little later in this video and episode. So in this case, we could rank for things like PandaDoc alternatives or PandaDoc pricing or PandaDoc reviews, and the same for GetAccept and the same for Quilla. And another way to do this that works pretty well is going versus. So if there's companies you're often stacked up against, you could do things like PandaDoc versus Quilla, or Quilla versus Proposify. And again, you could even put yourself as the third option there. So the article's talking about competitor 1 versus competitor 2, and then you shine a light. You say these guys do well here and here, but they often fall short, we hear on sales conversations, with X and Y, and this is where our product, where our SaaS, where our solution really outshines them. And then you'd weave in like customer quotes, customer review videos, social proof, and then offer a free sign up or CTA for demo. And then column number 4, jobs to be done. What are those struggling moments, those problems, those frustrations? How someone done in-house until they get really annoyed. So in the proposal software space, that might be how to write proposals that convert, reduce sales proposals time, and how to close more sales quotes. There'll be dozens of others. This is just a quick example. Now, these are more top of funnel, more informational based terms, but the more specific, the more crisp that you can get. The good thing about these terms is it introduces the problem. So someone has that struggling moment, they might be searching to fix it. In that article, we can then say, look, this is one way you can get the job done. Perhaps if you want to reduce sales proposal time, you could get a template in Google Docs, whatever, but it's still going to take you a long time. Instead, with our SaaS, with our software, then maybe you have a GIF of the aha moment where it just takes 3 clicks. You can easily grab one of our pre-formatted, beautiful templates. All you got to do is put in some information. AI does the rest, and within 2 minutes, you've got a beautiful proposal that speaks to your buyer pain points, their struggling moments, and shows exactly how your product can solve the solution. I hope you like my little proposal ad there. So that's why these jobs to be done articles work really well. 1, because they speak to pain points. 2, because they shine a light on the problem, the way the prospect's getting the job done today, and then introduce your product as a new, better way. Plus, they build out something called topical authority, where you can have internal links to your main product landing pages or other blog pages as well, so it helps with a general SEO boost. Plus, these work really well for LLMs on those really specific queries. So if someone's searching for something like, I need to write a solid proposal that's going to convert this audience struggling with this pain point, and they need it within this time frame, I'm actually looking for proposal software that can help me do this. And if you're talking about all these points within your article and you've gone super in depth, you know your ICP, you've done your research and more, then you can start ranking because you've written that article so in depth, you can start showing up in the LLMs. So those are the main 4 that I'd start with, bottom of funnel, and really exhaust those. Then if you want to start moving up the funnel, then you can start looking at things like mid-funnel offerings. So that could be useful assets that folks might search for when they're not ready to buy now, but they're probably maybe a quarter, halfway along their journey. So then in the proposal example, they might search for something like sales proposal checklists, or sales proposal templates, or sales proposal examples, or sales quote templates. And usually these are going to be blog articles where you can talk a bit about the problem that someone might be facing, introduce your solution, then give them a downloadable asset. Perhaps it's gated where they give you their name and work email, and then you can send them the asset and then nurture them over time, or even retarget them with ads. And again, if you want to show up in LLMs and AI search, make sure these are super useful. Make sure you've done your customer research and you attack real pain points. Really speak to your ICP and get as granular and as detailed as possible. And then lastly, you've probably heard of a small company like Zapier, the one that drove millions in traffic with a programmatic SEO strategy. So they went down the integrations route. They talked a lot about every single integration that their dream clients might be searching for, and made a ton of programmatic pages following a similar template to start ranking for each and every one. Now, you don't necessarily have to go down the programmatic route, but if integrations are a big piece of the puzzle for your SaaS, for your software, then why not work out all the integrations that folks actually care about and build a dedicated page for each and every one? So within each one, you can show up for those integration search terms. And the thing is, someone might be struggling with that particular integration. And if your software offers it, you can say, look, this is exactly how you can do it, and then introduce your software, show how you make it so much easier, how it easily connects. Maybe weave in some customer social proof and examples and customer quotes, talking about why they chose you because of the specific integration, then drive folks to a free sign up or a demo. And as an example, what that actually looks like, it could be things like integrate HubSpot with Proposify, or Trello plus Slack integration, or Google Sheets and HubSpot integration, to give you the gist. All right, so once we've made our exhaustive list of money keywords, the next thing we want to do from a Google perspective is to quite literally search for one of those focus money keywords that we want to start ranking for and driving leads, pipeline, demos, or signups and revenue. So in this instance, this is called something called assessing the intent. So what we're doing here is we're Googling one of our target keywords. So I've Googled best fan engagement platform. What we're doing here is we want to see what type of page, in this case, Google favors, whether it's a landing page, an article, comparison, listicle, or something else, so we can see what takes up most of the real estate from other sites that are already ranking. So we know the type of page that we should build that's probably going to rank pretty well on Google. So in this case, best fan engagement platform, this was one we recently ranked our SaaS client Cortex Tech top 4. So we can see the best 5 fan engagement platforms for sports organizations if you're watching here. But we can see most of the things that are ranking are things like best fan engagement platforms, 5 of the best. So the majority of the rankings here look to be product listicles. So in that case, that's what we did. And you can see in the AI overview as well that Cortex have got their mention there. And also in the top links on the far right, you can click through to Cortex. So you've got the AI overview as well as the top result. So when you know what type of page you need to build, in this case, an article or product listicle for your money keyword, you can make a note of it in your money keywords matrix. Then all you want to do is go into what's ranking already. So let's pretend this is one of our competitors' top ranking pages. I'd probably look at the top 2 or 3 top ranking organic pages, and we want to assess how they're built up, look for gaps in the page so we can one up those pages, in this case a product listicle article, at every angle possible. So a few quick things you can do. You can look at a extension, which this one is called SEO Pro Extension, which is free for Chrome, and this actually shows you the basic build-up of the page, and you can also see things like how much word count it is, the H1 of the page, meta description, and a bunch of other useful info. A few things to mention before we dive into the structure, in this case the article structure. So firstly, when it comes to SaaS SEO, a lot of technical SEO is overhyped, and a lot of it is BS, because the majority of SaaS websites, especially when they're starting out on an SEO program, they're very thin on content. They maybe have 5 to 7 pages total, or a very thin blog. So over-indexing on technical SEO, messing around with image alt tags, worrying about getting a 0.0001% faster page speed isn't going to move the needle in terms of getting rankings, getting traffic, driving leads and signups anywhere near as much as a focus on content. So as long as you know the technical basics, technical SEO basics, you're going to be okay. So in this case, if we wanted to rank for, let's say, best fan engagement platforms, then what we do is we'd include that focus keyword If we go back to our meta title and description in the search engine results page, so include that within our meta description, our meta title rather. So include that within our meta title, the 5 best fan engagement platforms for sports organizations. We include that in our heading 1 title. We include that in our URL, so rdomain.com/, and then our money keywords. So in this case, for cortextech.io/best-fan-engagement-platforms. Each word is separated by a hyphen or a dash. So we've got that, got the URL, got the meta title, meta description with our focus keyword within, and ideally within that meta title we want to make it engaging, enticing for someone to click through. So in this case we've got the 5 best fan engagement platforms for sports organizations, but you could put something like the 5 best fan engagement platforms to improve XYZ or to boost XYZ, or whatever that kind of value-based outcome is you want to help get more click-throughs. So do the URL, do the meta title and description, do the H1. Aside from that, you want to break up your headings, so those could be H2s or H3s. Usually on an article page or a landing page in general, you want 4 to 5 internal links. So other pages linking through to this page, whether those are landing pages or relevant, niche relevant articles, and likewise this page to link back to other useful articles or landing pages or product pages that we want to send folks to. And aside from that, on the technical SEO side of things, as long as you've got a website that loads quickly, ideally within a couple seconds or less, that works smoothly on mobile, tablet and PC, that you're including your money keyword within the URL, within the meta title and description, and within that H1. You only want one H1, one heading, one tag per page, and you're naturally weaving in your money keyword within the body copy, not jamming it in, not forcing it in, but weaving it in naturally. Those are the main things, and the other points I'm going to talk about are going to help you with the UX, making sure the page actually converts, and some best practices. So in this case, we're talking about a product listicle, so the 5 best fan engagement platforms, but yours might be something like the 10 best or the 20 best or the 10 best proposal software tools for 2025, or whatever your product category is. And usually I like to employ a blow out the water strategy when it comes to building a page, because I don't want to mess around constantly updating the page because competitors are outranking me. So if I see that my competitors doing the 5 best, in this case XYZ tools for 2025, I'd say I might as well do 10 best, 15 best, or 20 best, so I can make something that's going to be more useful, more helpful, evaluate more options, so folks, as well as Google, think mine is the most useful piece of content on the internet. So usually how these type of articles go is you position your product as number 1, and then you do a fair comparison as the other options. Now, many SaaS companies get these type of pages wrong. They just talk about how great they are, how awesome they are, etc. So instead, I'd encourage you to leverage customer research, so getting info from prospect calls, sales calls, customer success calls, support calls, to really lean into the problems that you solve that others don't, why folks opt for your software over others, and weaving in real customer quotes. And the other thing is, you don't want your article to be a wall of text that just causes someone to land on the page and think, flipping heck, this is a painful piece to read, it's just text heavy. We want to weave in plenty of product visuals, show the aha moment when our product clicks into play, whether that's a GIF, a video or similar, and plenty of proof, so social quotes, testimonials, customer review videos and more, and clear CTAs. And we usually encourage you to have a sticky table of contents fixed to the left or right side, as well as a sticky call to action, whether that's sign up for our newsletter, maybe if it's a top funnel information based article, or a book a demo or a book a call fixed CTA on the left or right hand side, so folks can easily get in touch. And likewise, a sticky main menu nav, so folks can easily direct themselves to the rest of your site, and again book a demo from that top menu nav that's going to be sticky as you scroll. And one thing we like to do on articles in general is at the start do a helpful summary or why trust us piece, as this can get picked up by tools like Google AI overviews. And then we'll talk about things like why listen to us, what a fan engagement platform is about, or in your case what our XYZ category or tool or software is about, bit of an intro, and then we'll lean into the comparison list where we'll position ourselves number 1, show why folks would choose us, talk about our pros, talk about our cons, weave in images of our product, etc., and then go through the other examples with a fair summary. We don't want to slate our competitors. We don't want to call them out for bad things or anything like that. We want to give a fair assessment. We don't want any legal suits or anything like that. And then as we get to the bottom of the article, we want another nice CTA for folks to easily take that relevant next step. And here's another example for another type of page format. So instead of an article, I'm going to show you a landing page. So this is one we got our client, the B2B Playbook, ranking super well for demand gen course, actually outranked HubSpot and some other kind of real big giants. So in the AI overviews, they've got a mention here, B2B Playbook, and a link through, and also a click through just under the AI overview. And then they're actually organic position 2, it looks like, in the UK, and I think they're top or near there in the US and Australia. But if we look at this page, again, these folks are trying to rank for demand generation course. So you can see demand generation course in their meta title and description. So they've got the heading 1 tag with the main keyword in. They've got a nice value prop underneath that talks about their demand generation course. They've got the embedded YouTube video. They've got clear call to actions that are descriptive to apply for the cohort. Straight away underneath, they've got some nice social proof with reviews that are pulled from happy clients from LinkedIn. Then they've got a urgency call to action to apply before the deadline. They're weaving in their money keyword around demand gen, but they're not forcing it. And they're using nice graphics, plenty of visuals to keep it engaging. Talking about a framework I love for landing pages is PAS, so problem, agitation, solution. So start with a problem that your dream clients are facing based on customer research, what you hear on prospecting, sales calls, support calls, what gets brought up on onboarding, like what were those struggling moments, lean into those. So in this case, they talk about, are you struggling to drive leads and revenue with demand gen? Struggling to do this, constantly in battle in this case with doing busy work, checklist marketing, etc. with a nice image. And then they say, look, focus on being first choice, not just a click with demand gen. Then they're talking about the problem with leads, what demand generation does instead, so the new better way with their demand generation course. Then they've got a nice comparison table. So this is life without our course and this is life with it, with a nice breakdown and summary of each. Call to action sprinkled across, and then they lean into in their case, their training program, talk about what's entailed. Again, lots of nice visuals and screenshots of the product in action. So lots of SaaS companies tend to be scared of actually showing the product, but folks want to see under the bonnet of your offer, whether that's GIFs, videos, live demos. Make sure you actually show what folks want to see when it comes to the offer, what they care about learning, doing, those main feature points. And then they dive into more depth throughout the course, in this case, about the resources that you get, about each breakdown of each element of the course, plenty of screenshots and visuals. Then they've got more proof and what you get as an outcome, then a drilled down kind of feature-based template, and then an option to, again, apply, with, in this case, their form that you can easily fill in. And then what I really love as well at the bottom of this landing page is FAQs. So having FAQs at the bottom of your form is good for a number of reasons. One, for LLMs and AI. So you've got the really granular data that someone might search for, really granular queries that you can impact head on that someone might search for within an LLM engine. Also super good for Google because it shows that you've got useful content. You're adhering to a framework called EEAT, Experience, Expertise, Authority, Trust. And SEO to one side, it helps with sales enablement, because if you address the really painful, difficult questions that your sales team are getting, and you address them on their landing page before they even come up in a sales call, it's going to save everyone time. So in this case, for their demand generation course, they've got, what will I learn? Who is this for? Who's it not a good fit for? Do you have a business case for leadership? How much is it? Do you have a returns policy? So if you're providing SaaS software, all this stuff is relevant. So you could say like, what's your ramp up time? What's the refund policy? How do you stack up against this competitor? Do I get a dedicated account manager? All these kind of harsh questions that your sales team are going to get anyway. Address them head on your landing page. It builds trust, shows transparency. It weeds out tire kickers. So it saves everyone time, helps your prospect move forward or weed them out if they're a poor fit, helps your sales team, and encourages folks to take that relevant next step if they are a good match, whether that's grabbing a demo, a sign up, or booking a call. And then at the end of the page, they've got another form to get in touch or book onto it, and plenty of social proof. In their case, customer quotes pulled from LinkedIn, customer review, YouTube videos embedded, and then to wrap up, they've got their 60-day money-back guarantee. So some really nice best practices on that landing page, top to bottom, taking those basic SEO fundamentals and then also putting the customer first, so leveraging customer research, going problem, agitation, solution, plenty of proof, plenty of showing the product in action, and calling folks to action throughout. And last example on assessing page intent is a mid-funnel search query. So if you search B2B SaaS SEO case study, we're ranking kind of top 3 or so right now. We fluctuate between 1 and 3, breaking B2B. So we've got a blog article for the top B2B SaaS SEO case studies where we showcase a bunch of our SaaS client case studies with exactly how we got the results, and then weaving in YouTube video embeds of that client testimonial and the breakdown. But the other beautiful thing here is if you're watching on video, you'll see that in the video section, before you even get to the search engine results, straight away you're shown 3 videos pulled from YouTube, and 2 out of those 3 videos are our SaaS SEO case studies. So where we talk to the client, talk through a strategy, they share the results, they share the impact it had. So this is really powerful if you're going for money keywords, if you can rank for both an article or a landing page or whatever type of page it is you need to build out, plus make a dedicated YouTube video for the topic. So you can show in that video section, you can get more real estate on Google. So you could potentially get a Google ad for 1 spot, then 3 spots with a video, that's 4, then another spot for your page, that's 5, but you can actually get 1 more spot, so you could get up to 6 spots. So in this case, sometimes for some queries, you can actually rank for a landing page and an article. So really powerful way to actually own the search engine results pages and encourage more click-throughs, drive more brand awareness, and make it more likely to drive that inbound opportunity. And a quick tip on internal linking is to make a list of your top 20% important pages. So that could be landing pages, high converting blog posts and articles, and try and get them to around 80% of the internal links that you're using throughout your pages. And to actually find out where these are, you can check out the links tab within Google Search Console to see the current distribution. So let's pretend you've done my blow out the water strategy to make the best possible piece of content, best possible page on the topic on the internet. Maybe some of your pages are starting to rank 30, 60, 90 days later. Normally we say give it 90 days after publishing for Google to fully crawl and index a page. But maybe for some of the more competitive search terms, keywords and topics, perhaps you're struggling to rank, perhaps in Google's instance you're ranking at the bottom of page 1 or page 2. This is where the dark art of SEO, yes, I'm talking about link building, comes into play. Some say they're dead, some pay for them, some beg for them, some steal for them. But from what we've seen at Breaking B2B, link building is still a big piece of the SEO puzzle to rank for those money keywords. And it's worth mentioning that backlinks are less important when it comes to LLMs and ranking on AI searches, but they do go after brand mentions. So if your company can be mentioned along with your category, i.e. Proposify and proposal software, then that can start giving you a boost in the visibility side of things for LLMs. So if when you're earning backlinks, you can make sure you're employing that strategy as well. You can look to get an organic boost both in Google search and start gaining more visibility and traction in the LLMs. Right, let's dive into these strategies. First strategy is partnerships, one of my favorite plays. So basically finding companies that target the same ICP, same ideal client profile as yourself, but are not direct competitors. Make a list of all these businesses, companies. They could be in software, they could be external agencies, they could be elsewhere. I'll give you an actual example. So at Breaking B2B, we partner with a LinkedIn ads agency called Impactable. So I actually saw their founder originally on LinkedIn. I reached out to him after a while as a fairly light touch intro. So his name's Justin. I said, hey Justin, have a bit of a weird idea to ramp up your site traffic and potential inbounds. Are you against a brief conversation? So I like to lead with curiosity in these messages, and he probably thought, what the heck is Sam on about? So he responded saying something like, yeah, what are you thinking, Sam? And in this case, the partnership play is for us to build out a guest piece of content, so a guest article to publish on their blog. In this case, I wrote something useful that benefited both their audience and ours, and in return asked for a backlink to one of our money keyword pages. And this is something you can do exactly the same. So you can make a short list, fire up a Google Sheet, make a list of companies that are going after that same ideal client profile as yourself. And maybe each day you reach out to one or two, perhaps through LinkedIn or perhaps through another channel, depending on where these folks hang out on. Lead with a painfully short message that piques the curiosity gap. And then once they connect, then see if they're open to you creating a guest article or blog for them. A really low lift way to get quality backlinks or potentially brand mentions as well. Plus, the beauty of building partners is that it goes into so much more than SEO. So you might create some video content together, maybe eventually do a podcast together, and then maybe eventually you start setting up a partnership program. So you send business their way, you send leads their way, or they send leads your way, or you get a kickback for intros you send your way. So it can lead on to so much more from a business perspective than just the initial SEO boost. Strategy number 2, again, this is an awesome one. This is using podcasts, so guesting on niche relevant podcasts to earn backlinks. But again, you get so much more, just like the partnership play. So I recommend going onto a site like listennotes.com, and all you do is quite literally search for the category that your audience is hanging out in, the niche relevant category to your audience. Mine is B2B marketing or SaaS marketing, as we work with a lot of SaaS marketers and B2B marketers, but yours might be fintech, finance, retail, sports, whatever category your actual ideal clients are hanging out and likely to listen or watch into. Search for that category, then you can filter it to the top 5, 10, 2.5% shows. In this case, you can see Breaking B2B showing up top here for B2B Marketing, our podcast. And then what I do is I reach out to folks. The good thing about here is you can click into each show, you can see who hosts each show, and then you can connect with them on LinkedIn. Similar strategy to the partnership play. So what I do is I'd make a short list of some of the top shows I want to guest on, check that they've got recent episodes within Listen Notes and they're still active. Start with the top 10%, top 5%, top 2.5% ones. Again, send the host of the show a painfully short message like, hey Steve or hey Janice, enjoyed your recent show on XYZ, had a weird idea for your podcast. Are you against a conversation? When they accept, if it's LinkedIn or if they reply an email, whatever channel you're going down, I usually take the time to create a Loom video or actually go on their podcast page, and then I will say, look, enjoy your recent show, or I like this topic you've talked about recently. I had actually 2 different ideas for your show. One was on X, one was on Y. I think this could be useful for your audience. And also I'm going to promote it after the fact to, let's say, my LinkedIn audience. I'm going to promote it to my email list, etc. So share what's in it for them. Maybe you'll run ads to it, whatever. And then a good chunk of those will be open to it because you've taken the time to send them a personalized video. And then when you record the podcast episode, make sure it's super useful and tactical. And then when they publish the podcast article page, ask them to mention your company name and your category, and also give a backlink, a do follow backlink to one of your money keywords and pages. So the good thing about it is not only do you get an SEO boost, you get a PR boost, but you're also talking in front of ideal clients. So you're piggybacking on this audience that you've not tapped into before, and you can even get potential leads from folks watching or listening to that podcast you're guesting on. Really powerful strategy. Third strategy, a really awesome low lift one again, is fire up a tool like Ahrefs, SEMrush, or whatever uses your SEO tool. Copy and paste a LinkedIn profile from whoever on your team, whether that's your founder, marketing leader, sales leader, revenue leader, or another exec on your team, whoever's done the most past press. So whether they've been involved in a lot of interviews, podcast episodes, they've contributed to other blogs, whatever it may be. Find out whoever's done that, if anyone on your team, copy and paste their LinkedIn URL into Ahrefs or SEMrush, and filter it to click the backlinks tab. You can also filter it then to the sites with the highest domain rating or domain authority, and then look for all the relevant sites that have cited your founder, your exec, whoever it is, but they've probably only linked to your LinkedIn profile. So this is going to show all those articles, all those pages, all that past press. Look for all the ones that are relevant to your niche and that have good domain rating, i.e. ideally kind of 40 plus. But if there are some a bit lower, it doesn't matter too much. And then reach out to whoever was the author of the article or page. And again, find out whatever channel they're on, if it's email or it could be LinkedIn message. And you can just drop them a super short message like, hey Alice, hey Steve, thanks again for featuring our founder on this article. I wondered if you could quickly change this link to this money keyword with a do follow link to this page. And if you can mention our company plus our category, that'd be much appreciated. And most of those folks are gonna be absolutely happy to do that because they've already taken the time to do that piece of press. If you do need to do something in return, maybe you offer something low lift, like you allow them to do a guest article on your show or you invite them onto a podcast, whatever it may be, but most folks will already be fine to make that very small tweak. And then this is gonna give you a super big boost for a really low effort task. So when I started Breaking B2B, we had a fresh website with 0 domain authority. One of the first things I did was this. Look for all the sites that are already linking to us, but maybe to my LinkedIn profile or to the wrong page, and then reached out to all those site owners, the authors, etc. Asked them to tweak the do follow backlinks with this process that I've shared, and that gave us a nice boost in domain rating in a pretty short time and enabled us as part of the strategy to start showing up for our money keywords as quick as 90 days and driving pipeline inbound. So it really shows there's proof of the pudding there, and that's helped us rank some competitive terms, following our blow out the water strategy, following this link building strategy, and a couple other plays we've shared, we've been able to rank for really money terms like SaaS SEO agency, B2B SaaS SEO agency, so we can show clients that we're practicing what we preach. And the last one, super relevant for SaaS companies, is getting featured on external sites that have product listicles, i.e. going back to the proposal software example, if we ran a proposal software SaaS, we might try and get featured on external sites that have articles for things like, we reviewed the top 10 proposal software companies for 2025. We might make a short list of the companies that are ranking pretty well with these listicles, and then we'd reach out to the author with, again, a similar email flow, or reach out to them on LinkedIn with a similar flow to what we've talked about already, a painfully short message that piques the curiosity gap. Hey, XYZ, had an unusual idea for your product listicle on this topic. Wondered if you'd be against us sharing what we had in mind. So we're going after the response, and then it may be that some of them might want cash for you to be featured, but some might be open to a trade. So perhaps you include their company in your own article or product listicle breakdown. Or some might be open to, if you've got a podcast, guesting on that, or guesting on another piece of content together. So it's more of a time and resource trade opposed to a money trade. And the good thing about that, it gives you an SEO boost with a backlink, but also getting featured on niche relevant, category relevant listicles with your category and your brand name, again, gives you that nice boost in the LLMs and AI search. And a few final points to wrap up. Your big advantage, your huge advantage as a SaaS company is that most of the giant competitors in your space are going to be slow moving. When I say slow moving, they might be building out their money keywords and topics. That might take them several weeks or months. They might need to then design the page framework. That might take them a couple of weeks. Work on the content with multiple execs back and forth and another few weeks. Build out the page design another few weeks, and eventually get it past legal, and then eventually publish it. So you could be talking 3, 4, 5 months or even longer, I've seen, for mid-market and enterprise companies to actually get pages out the door and published. Meanwhile, your fast-moving SaaS could have done all that process within a matter of days or weeks. So publishing money content following this strategy that we've shared at speed is going to be your cheat code to start outranking huge competitors and start making a dent, ranking organically in Google and the LLMs, and start driving quality, visibility, mindshare, organic traffic, click-throughs, sign-ups, demos, and revenue. And if you have this publishing at speed mindset, you've got to bear in mind that Google can take up to 90 days to properly index a page, so you can see how the rankings are settling, and then you can assess whether these pages need slight improvement or optimizations to get the top spot, or whether they're good to go, and you can keep plowing on with the rest of your topics. So if you keep getting money content out the door, you can start chipping away at those slow-moving giant competitors and driving a steady flow of organic traffic, building mindshare for your category, and start driving those all-important inbound leads, signups, and demos. And there you have it. That's the full strategy we've used to help SaaS companies drive millions in pipeline and revenue through SEO. If you watched or listened this far, you're probably quite serious about making SEO a solid strategy for your SaaS business. And if so, there's 2 routes you can go down. One route is trying to do it internally and trying to tackle it in-house, in which case head to breakingb2b.com, hit that newsletter tab, and you can grab my 90 days to revenue SaaS SEO guide and try and go ahead and work on it internally. Or the second might be you lack internal resources, or perhaps your marketing team is stretched thin already and you want a solid partner to start driving pipeline and revenue through SEO and through LLMs for your SaaS business, in which case, head over to breakingb2b.com. You can book a call with myself and we can talk through exactly where you're starting at and where you'd like to get to with SEO and see if we can start driving pipeline and revenue for your business. So hit the link in the description below or head over to breakingb2b.com and I'll be happy to chat through with you, or you can check out the Breaking B2B podcast for more useful episodes around SEO. And with that, I shall catch you on the next one. Cheers.